This is called Forget Me Not. It's in the genre of dance and electric. And the mood is dramatic. Dramatic. What makes it dramatic? Is it just that repetitive? I guess that's it. You just do things over and over again and it becomes dramatic. Patricios dropping the sick beat on the show today. Patricios. I'm not even joking. The guy's name is Patrick Patricios. Here, let's listen to the beat drop. Here it comes. Come on now. Bam. Patrick Patricios. A master of the drop and beat. I love it. I love it. Good. Good. Good job, Patrick Patricios. I'm going to download that. Put that in my Patricios file. It's good. I can dance to it. 2 thumbs up. Hold on. Put it in my YouTube audio library. All right. I thought... There. Waiting for your stream to go live. There it is. Ah, there you go. Good. Good, 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 good. All right. That's enough Patricios for us. We don't need to go so hard on a Sunday morning, do we? Or do we? What's up, everybody? Welcome to Sunday Morning with Sage. I'm at my house. Why am I not outside? Because I'm lazy. Pretty much, I think that's it. And I wanted to try some fun new streaming tools at my desktop. And, capture the moments as they happen. Stream markers are timestamps you can add while you're live once your stream ends. What? I wasn't done reading that. Create a highlight video, add stream marker. When am I going to do that? Okay, I'm going to make a highlight video. Am I doing it now? Am I making a highlight video right now? I don't think I want to make a highlight video this minute. Can I do it later? Anyways, welcome to Sunday Morning with Sage over at Yahoo. Yahoo. At Yahoo. Do you remember Yahoo? Yahoo. Is that still a thing? I gotta go see. Oh my God. It's still a thing. You can go to yahoo.com. Here it is, ladies and gentlemen. Here it is. Yahoo, register to vote. Register to vote. You can sign in, get all the great Yahoo. You can get this awesome Home Depot ad. There's some weather. I mean, stuff you can only get at Yahoo. Your horoscope. You can learn about Lindsey Vonn's butt and back looks so toned in a new bikini Instagram photo. Good job, Lindsey. Proud of your butt and back. Then you can learn about how I escaped a modern sex cult after spending 8 years as their slave. How's your butt and back, though? I mean, that's what we want to know, actually, at Yahoo. How did your butt and back survive? I mean, do we really... Is that really a title after the Me Too movement? That Lindsey Vonn's butt and back looks so toned in a new bikini Instagram photo? I mean, I've got to click it. I want to see her butt and back, I guess. I don't know. Let me see. Well, that's a lot of... Okay. Great butt. And her back looks like a back. Her butt looks like a butt. I guess she's... Okay, Lindsey Vonn writes... A, I don't know who Lindsey Vonn is. And B, I don't know how I ever got over on YouTube. When I look in front of me, sometimes I can't believe how far I come. Who knew ski racing and surgeries could bring me here? Really? Really? Thankful for everything I have. My love, my family, my friends. Don't forget to appreciate life because it's short. But look at my butt and my back. I can't believe ski racing and surgeries got me here. I just don't even know what world I live in. I don't even know. I don't even know what to say about this. I mean, clearly she's excited to show us her butt and her back. And look at her arms, quite honestly. Her arms are pretty badass, and that's a nice watch. Hair's looking good. Nice earrings. I don't know. Am I supposed to critique everything on Lindsey Vonn? Who the hell is Lindsey Vonn? Former Olympic skier turned businesswoman. Okay. All right. I just don't even know what to say. I mean, okay, quite honestly, I mean, look at that picture. Now, there's a pic. She's a skier. She, for her job, works out, okay? Look at her. She's exercising. She's skiing. That's what happens when that's what happens to your butt when you do this stuff. Isn't it a little more impressive that she's working her butt off doing all this shit? Isn't that the impressive thing? I mean, quite honestly, I've seen a lot of butts in the world, but I don't see a lot of people doing all this crap. Although maybe that's what she's showing us, that like she's a hard worker. I don't understand Lindsey Vonn. I don't understand the world. And I don't understand how I got to this point on this show. She's a skier. Good job, Lindsey. How about the fact that you're a skier and you don't really need to prove to me that your butt and back are awesome? You're awesome. You're awesome. You're awesome, Lindsey. Not your butt and back. I just don't understand the world. Lindsey, honey, dear, sweetheart, don't worry about your butt and back. Just be your awesome self, okay? We don't need to talk about your butt and back. We don't need to be proud of it. We're proud of you. You're an awesome skier and hard worker and like one of the greatest skiers in the world, no doubt. Isn't that enough? I don't understand. Anyways, welcome to... I'm already depressed. I don't know. I don't go to yahoo.com. Just don't go. Don't go over there. It's a hellhole. It's always been a hellhole. It still continues to be a hellhole. And why would they put that on their front page? That Lindsey Vonn's butt and back looks so toned in a new bikini. She's a freaking Olympian. It's what happens when you're an Olympian. Your butt and back look good. Like, you know what would be more interesting? Sage Lewis's butt and back looks so toned even though he does shit. Now there's a front page article. That's interesting. How does Sage do it? How does his butt and back look so good even though he doesn't do anything to work on it? That is an article. Not Lindsey Vonn, Olympian's butt and back looks so toned. Duh. Can we just, how about her arms? How about like those arms will like choke you out in 3.5 seconds. Faster than a freaking Tesla gets to 0 to 60, you're going to be dead by those Lindsey Vonn sick-ass arms. How about that? Could we make any better freaking headline than Lindsey Vonn's butt and back looks so toned? Don't ever go to Yahoo ever again. It's disease. It's a dumpster fire. It's always been a dumpster fire. It continues to be a dumpster fire. God dang it, I regret ever typing that in. Why are we here again? So I can yell at you? Is that why? Is that why? Here, hold on. Let me share this. We don't want people to miss out on this. We don't. Let me tweet that shit out right now. Here, and then I'm gonna put it back on. I'm gonna put it on Facebook. I'm gonna put it on Facebook. Here it goes. Facebook. I'm live now. I'm live. Click, damn it. There, I'm gonna say that. Click it. There. All right, good. I did it. We are going to be talking politics today. One of those topics that, it's a kumbaya topic. Everyone loves to come together on politics, They love it. So, here's the thing. I have come to a place in my life where I have strove. I have struved. I have striven. Striven? Now I don't even know if that's a word. I strive to understand other people. I do. It's fun. It's fun to try and understand people that you at first pass don't understand. That you're like, wow, that seems stupid. And then usually that's what we say on Facebook or probably Yahoo. You're just stupid. Literally, Donald Trump, you might be surprised, called Borat a retard when he somehow got suckered into doing an interview with Borat. I mean, who's the retard? But whatever. Donald Trump can say whatever he wants. So, the fact of the matter is, most people are not stupid. This segment of Sunday Morning with Sage, brought to you by Airborne, in a time where the zombie apocalypse is upon you, eat Airborne if you can afford it. Otherwise, whatever. Because America. Not everybody deserves Airborne. Not everybody deserves a high dose of vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin E, magnesium, zinc, selenium, and manganese, and sodium, and a proprietary herbal blend. They got some Linacea habanera flower, Forsyth. They got some schizophrenia in here. Literally, it says schizonapida. Literally, I'm eating schizophrenia. There's some ginger. There's some all this other crap. Echinacea. There's some echinacea. It's expensive as hell. Only rich people can get their vitamins in America. But, I mean, what kind of country do we want to live in? Do we want to live in a democracy, or do we want to live in socialism? Do we want democracy or socialism? As near as I can tell, that is how Trump supporters view this election. Do we want to live in a democracy, or do we want to live in a socialist country? I'm pretty sure that is the how they see the election. Because I talk to conservatives and I watch conservative stuff. So, and when you post it that way, that is concerning, right? Democracy or socialism. Personally, I feel like that's not a fair comparison. You can be in a democracy with socialism. Socialism is an economic platform, is an economic structure. Democracy is a political structure. So it would be a little bit better if we were a little more like socialism versus capitalism. I wish they would frame it that way, but that's not what they're trying to do. They're not trying to have a authentic conversation. They're trying to send messaging to win votes. And if you are a liberal listening to me say that, you're like, yeah, Sage, you tell them. You tell them. But your side does it too. You're like, you're telling people that Donald Trump is the worst president in the history of America. How many presidents were there while there was slavery in America? 12. According to surviving documentation, at least 12 presidents were slave owners. Washington, Jefferson, Madison, Monroe, Jackson, Martin Van Buren, Harrison, Tyler, Polk, Taylor, Johnson, and Ulysses S. They don't say what his name is. Grant, I think. So, which ones had the most slaves? Thomas Jefferson. Thomas Jefferson did. Thomas Jefferson owned the most with 600 slaves, followed closely by George Washington. Now, you tell me who's the worst president ever, okay? You tell me that 600 slaves is not as bad as what Donald Trump has done. Because really, what has Donald Trump done? He sent out a shit ton of tweets. That's what he's done. He sent out a shit ton of tweets, and that's pretty much it. A shit ton of tweets. He did not own 600 slaves, okay, like Thomas Jefferson, or followed closely by George Washington. Here, you go to Wikipedia. I'll go to Wikipedia. I'll show you. 600. Washington was a major slaveholder before, during, and after his presidency. It says here 600. Whoa. Wait. 600 plus. His will freed his slaves pending the death of his widow. Isn't that handy? He made sure his wife had slaves. Then she freed them within a year of her husband's death. Well, that's nice. At least she did something. Thomas Jefferson. Most historians believe Jefferson fathered multiple slave children and enslaved women. And with the enslaved woman Sally Hemings, the likely half-sister of his late wife Martha Wales Skelton. Despite being a lifelong slave owner, Jefferson routinely condemned the institution of slavery, attempted to restrict expansion, and advocated gradual emancipation. As president, he oversaw the abolition of the international slave trade. If you don't know the definition of hypocrisy, just read those sentences right there. Madison had 100 plus slaves. Madison did not free his slaves in his will. Paul Jennings, one of Madison's slaves, served him during his presidency. He later published his first memoir in the White House. James Monroe, he supported sending freed slaves to the new country of Liberia. Its capital, Monrovia, is named after him. Let's send him to Monrovia. Unbelievable. Andrew Jackson owned many slaves, not as many as Washington and Jefferson, but still 200. One controversy during his presidency was his reaction to anti-slavery tracts. During his campaign for presidency, he faced criticism for being a slave trader. He did not free his slaves in the will. It goes on and on. There's 12 of them, or whatever. Ulysses S. Grant had one. Although he later served as a general in the Union Army, his wife Julia had control of 4 slaves during the American Civil War, given to her by her father. However, it was unclear if she actually was granted legal ownership of them or merely temporary custody. All would be freed by the Emancipation Proclamation of 1863. She chose to freeze them free them at the time, even though the proclamation did not apply to her state in Missouri. Good job, Julia. Wow, what a noble citizen you are. Grant personally owned one slave, William Jones, given to him in 1857 by his father-in-law and manumitted by Grant in, manumitted. Andrew Johnson owned a few slaves and was supported by Polk's slavery policy. Anyways, if you ask me, all of these people worse than Donald Trump. All of them. Every one of them. Every single one of them. Every single one of them. And I don't know if you remember or not, but there was an instance when Bill Clinton took a cigar and stuffed it up the vagina of a certain intern in the Oval Office. I don't know if you heard that or not. I don't know if Donald Trump putting cigars up of women's vaginas in the Oval Office, but I haven't heard of it yet. I haven't heard of it yet. I don't see how you can honestly say Donald Trump is the worst president in the United States when Thomas Jefferson and George Washington had 600 plus slaves. And Washington, in his will, said he'd get rid of his slaves after his widow died, just as long as she got hers. George Washington was the richest Virginian. He was super rich. That's why he was so pissed about taxes. Super pissed, because he's so rich, he didn't want to pay any of those taxes. He murdered a lot of British people because of taxes. Now, I'm not saying he shouldn't, and I'm not saying I'm not thankful for him, but if we're not calling out the truth, then what are we doing here? What are we doing here? You know what I'm saying? What are we doing here? So I would say that it is an overreach to say that Donald Trump is the worst president in the history of America. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to go through this article, okay? A fact-checked list of Trump accomplishments. Now, this is put out by the New York Times. This is not some Fox thing. I mean, obviously, CNN would never put this out. If anything, and you can see here, here's a woman of color, Farrah Stockman, okay? I don't know, not, doesn't look like your typical Trump supporter. And, Donald Trump has bashed the New York Times quite a bit. So, what Farrah did was she examined each claim of Donald Trump's accomplishments and goes through them. She says, so anyways, there is, how many here? I'm not going to go through them all because, it's ridiculous. There are 104, 105. There's 105, okay? I will put these in the chat. Here, so you can read them if you want. There they go. Let's just go through some of these. Trump recently signed 3 bills to benefit Native people. One gives compensation to the Spokane trade for the loss of their lands in the 1900s. One funds native language programs. And the third gives federal recognition to the Little Shell tribe of Chippewa Indians. True, but it was a bipartisan effort. Trump finalized the creation of Space Force as the 6th military branch. True. Now, you might make fun of Space Force, but the goal of Space Force is to protect all the crap we have flying around in space. It's not to shoot lasers at our enemies. It's to protect our stuff up in space. It's pretty important, actually, to defend the country's space assets. He did that. Signed into a law to make cruelty to animals a federal felony so that animal abusers face tougher consequences. True. Violent crime has fallen every year he's been in office after rising during the 2 years before. Dropped steadily since 1999. Trump signed a bill making CBD and hemp legal. True. Trump's EPA gave $100 million to fix the water infrastructure to Flint, Michigan. Both Obama and Trump did that, so it's true. Under Trump's leadership in 2018, the U.S. surpassed Russia and Saudi Arabia to become the world's largest producer of crude oil. True. And I don't know if you've heard, but Russia and Saudi Arabia can go suck my dick. This just in. So good. Trump signed a law ending the gag orders on pharmacists that prevented them from sharing money savings information. True. Trump signed the Allow States and Victims to Fight Online Sex Trafficking Act. Includes the Stop Enabling Sex Trafficker Act. Both give law enforcement and victims a new tool to fight sex trafficking. True. Trump signed a bill requiring airports to provide space for breastfeeding moms. True. 25% of lowest paid Americans enjoyed a 4.5% income boost in 2019, which outpaces the 2.9% gain in the earnings of the country's highest paid worker. Probably true, she says. Low-wage workers are benefiting from higher minimum wages. He says that's misleading. Trump signed the... Okay, this is misleading. Hold on. I just want to show you the things that she says are true. Trump signed the Save Our Seas Act, which funds $10 million per year to clear tons of plastic and garbage from the ocean. True. He signed a bill allowing some drug imports from Canada so the prescription prices would go down. True. Trump signed an executive order this year that forces all healthcare providers to disclose the cost of their services so that Americans can comparison shop and how much fewer providers charge insurance. True. Signing the bill, he has no American should... hold on. Oh, wait. When signing the bill, he said no Americans should be blindsided by bills for medical services they never agreed to in advance. He did say this. Unfortunately, people are still getting blindsided by medical bills. So he's trying to make it better. Let's see. Let me get you some more. He created a White House VA hotline to help veterans and principally staffed it with veterans and direct family members of veterans. True. Let's get you another one. Issued executive order requiring the Secretary of Defense, Homeland Security, Veterans Affairs to submit a joint plan to provide veterans access to health treatment so they can transition to civilian life. True. So what I find as a guy who has probably more liberal friends, that's debatable. Because I know a lot of people. I'm very, very fortunate to know many, many people. These are things, and 75, 78, 180 more of these, a lot of things he has done that, honest to God, he deserves credit for. And he is oftentimes right when he says that the media buries this stuff. Because, and, you know, he's kind of not made himself very friendly to the media. I mean, he's not that maybe, I'm just saying. He's kind of a little confrontational towards the media. Okay. So, you would do well to be fair that Donald Trump has accomplished things, and to also be fair that the media has probably not shown his accomplishments. Okay? Let's look at another article. This is a Business Insider article. Okay? So I like this. Hold on. What's going on here? He's the third commander-in-chief in U.S. history to be impeached, but, he could certainly and has made a case that it was what did he like to call it? A witch hunt? A witch hunt? Could be because, okay, so here's his biggest accomplishments. I like this, and failures, okay? Reshaping the federal judiciary, okay? Trump's most lasting impact will be this reshaping of the federal judiciary. Thus far, Trump has installed 2 Supreme Court justices and 205 justices overall to the federal bench for lifetime appointments. Now, if you are a liberal, you're probably unhappy about that. But that's because you're a liberal. If you're a conservative, you're incredibly happy about that because you're a conservative. Okay? So, and may I say, I just want to get this off of my chest. Bernie Sanders was my Donald Trump. Okay? Bernie Sanders was my outsider, an insider-outsider, but an independent, And through significant help of the Democratic Party, they crushed him. They crushed him. And, may I say, a lot of young people who said they were going to vote in the primaries for Bernie Sanders didn't come out and vote. Okay? So now we're here with Joe Biden. And we're going to talk about Joe Biden. But what I'm getting at here is conservatives did what the liberals couldn't do. They bucked the entire system. They pushed through all of those insiders like Jeb Bush. I thought for sure Jeb Bush was going to win. But he didn't. He didn't win. The outsider who publicly admitted that he'd only been to Washington, D.C. maybe a dozen times in his entire life. They got him in. And if you cannot give them credit for that, you are as blindsided and myopic and culty as you oftentimes say they are. This segment of Sunday Morning with Sage brought to you by Vitamin B Complex. When you need vitamin B, get vitamin B in a pill. It turns my pee actually Mountain Dew green. It was concerning for a while, but now I just accept it. If you are fortunate enough to be able to afford vitamin B, zoom. Will you zoom? Come on, computer. Zoom it. You're smarter than this. There we go. If you can afford vitamin B, go get yourself some vitamin B. Otherwise, America. All right. Good job, Seiji. So, back to the show. I truly wish liberals would stop name-calling Trump supporters because they did what the liberals couldn't do. They had 2 opportunities to get Bernie Sanders in, and they blew both of them. Both of them. And I blame the people. I don't actually blame the Democratic Party. I mean, the Democratic Party did it to us. Did it to them. Us. Bernie was my guy. But the people failed Bernie. Whereas the people did not fail Trump. Really impressive. Really impressive. And so, Yeah, as a liberal, you may be upset that he got 2 Supreme Court justices in and 205 judges overall, but that's the benefit of winning. That's the benefit of winning. You cannot hate that. You lost because you didn't go and vote for your guy. That's all. There was no, he won fair and square. And yeah, you don't like the college, whatever, the electoral college? Well, stop whining about it. Another thing I hate about liberals, whiny fatalists. Whiny fatalists. They sit around talking about how the world is ending, how things are terrible, blah, 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 and then they go back and watch Netflix. It's ridiculous. Absolutely, absolutely ridiculous. There. Conservatives got their man in. Really impressive. So yeah, there you go. Trump's nominees made up roughly 25% of all U.S. Circuit Court judges. Really great. Really great if you're a conservative. He appointed 53 judges on the 13th U.S. court circuits and still has months left in his first term. To put into perspective, Barack Obama appointed 55 circuit judges. Do you know what also that I love about Republicans? They win. They get what winning is. They win. They're going to put their people in because they won. Liberals just whine. Even if Trump is not reelected in 2020, his presidency will continue to have an impact in the direction of the United States due to the sheer number of conservative federal judges he has installed. It's really good. Space Force. Signing a $738 billion defense spending bill just a few days before Christmas, he established the 6th branch. Check that out. The 6th branch of the U.S. Armed Forces, the first new military service since the Air Force since 1947. It's huge. Despite its name, the new branch has not been established to protect the planet from extraterrestrial threats, but tasked protecting U.S. military assets. It's not a farce. This is nationally critical, says General John Raymond, who Trump tapped to lead the Space Force. We are elevating space commensurate with its importance to our national security and the security of our allies and partners. The silent majority. It is real, Marcia. Yeah. Oh, you took it back. It's nice to see you, Marcia. Hi. Anyways, huge. Tax reform. Okay? Huge. 3 years into his presidency, Trump's signature legislative achievement remains a Republican tax bill that made sweeping changes to the tax code, the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. It's huge. It is huge. The law was the biggest overhaul to the nation's tax code in 3 decades, and the president pitched it as rocket fuel for the American economy. It permanently slashed, that was me being silent. Oh, ha! That's funny, Marcia. That is very funny. I like it. Permanently slashed the corporate tax rate to 21% from 35%, while also providing temporary benefits for individuals and their families. Critics argued it was a windfall for the massive corporations at the expense of the middle class. Meanwhile, supporters of the tax cut contended it would unleash an economic bonanza. Businesses would invest in their operations, they said, resulting in improved worker productivity and higher wages. Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin, among others, said the law would juice the nation's gross domestic product by 3% or more, and Trump said 6% and soon pay for itself and spread prosperity. But the law, however, has achieved none of the ambitious goals that the Republicans put forward, and there are scant signs they ever will. However, he did it. He made it happen. He made it happen. Okay? That's huge. That is huge. Obviously, if you're a liberal, you aren't happy. But if you're a conservative, you should be very happy. It's huge. Trump signed the First Step Act into law in December 2018, marking the first legislative victory in years for advocates seeking to reform the criminal justice system. The bill passed with overwhelming bipartisan support in Congress. It offers relatively modest changes to the federal prison system, but was praised as an important step forward by groups and activists seeking to end mass incarceration, which is a very liberal thing. We all watched the documentary 13th, about the 13th Amendment, and now we want to end mass incarceration for all these people that are spending their lives in jail because of drug use. Donald Trump started the ball rolling on that. Here's some key aspects. The passage of the bill marked the first major legislative win in decades to address mass incarceration at the federal level. The bill overhauls certain federal sentencing laws, reducing mandatory minimum sentences for drug felonies, reducing mandatory minimums, okay? And expanding early release programs. The bill also makes retroactive a 2010 federal sentencing law, reducing the sentencing disparity between crack and powder cocaine offenses. Huge. The bill also aims to lower recidivism by offering more rehabilitation and job training opportunities, and includes provisions intended to treat prisoners humanely, banning the shackling of pregnant inmates, halting the use of solitary confinement for most juvenile inmates, and mandating that prisoners be placed in facilities within 500 miles of their families. Donald Trump did that. You liberals probably are happy with that. No, you aren't, though, because you're whiny little whiner heads. Accomplishment: defeating ISIS caliphate and killing Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi. Okay? See, this is the problem. Donald Trump does something, and then liberals are like, well, anybody could have done that. I could have killed Baghdadi. ISIS shocked the world in 2014 when it took over a large swath of territory across the Iraq and Syria and declared a caliphate. The terrorist group's territorial holdings were the basis for its so-called caliphate and provided a major base of operations to conduct attacks across the world. Trump has at times falsely claimed that ISIL is totally defeated. That's not true, embellishing the extent of the U.S. military success against the terrorist organizations during his presidency. Though the terrorist group has lost its territory, its so-called caliphate, it's still estimated to have 18,000 fighters in Iraq and Syria. In October, U.S. raid led the death of ISIS leader Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi. Isn't that impressive? I can say that. Baghdadi was the world's most wanted terrorist up to the point, and his death represented a major blow to the terrorist group. Last night, the United States brought the world's #1 terrorist leader to justice, Trump said. Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, Abu Bakr, I think. But now I can't say it anymore. Darn it. See, that's what happens when you gloat. Capturing or killing him has been the top national security priority of my administration. Okay? So now we get into failures. Okay? Now, if you know me, you know that I am not a Trump supporter. I'm not going to be voting for Trump, okay? But I am also not going to not vote for Trump because whiny little whiner heads are grumpy. I'm not going to do it. This portion of the show is brought to you by Lipton Tea. When you are too much of a cheap ass to drink quality tea, get Lipton Tea. I have some water here, okay? Lipton tea. You buy them by the box at Sam's Club. I like to pretend that I'm a fancy person, but I'm not. When I drank Budweiser. When I drank beer. When I drink tea, I drink Lipton. Every time I go through this whole thing that I'm going to, drink quality things, and then I don't. I just drink. I'm a drinker. I love drinking. Drink. But now I drink tea. So, these are now getting to some of the reasons why I maybe would not vote for Donald Trump. And I have Lipton, my favorite tea. Yeah, it's good. It's all right. Okay, failure. So we had Charlottesville and George Floyd. Can you believe that is a picture from America? I mean, look at that. Is that not the most embarrassing thing you've ever seen in your life? Literally a bunch of losers. And I'm not talking because they voted for Trump, which they are. I'm talking because they're holding flags of losers. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. See, this kind of crap makes me mad. This kind of crap wants me... I am not a pacifist. Those people should be shot. They are anti-American. They're traitors. You're looking at traitors. I'm all for shooting traitors. That's ridiculous. I'm all for the First Amendment. And you know what? It's fine. They want to wander around with their pussy-ass Confederate flag and their pussy-ass Hitler flag. Fine, you pussy-ass pussies. If that's offensive to women, I apologize. I don't know if it's... I don't know. Anyways, I'm sorry. These are traitors. And I hate them. I hate them. What is this guy with this weird, shield? What's he going to do with... Is that a wooden shield? Is that some, Viking shit or something? Who are these assholes? Look at them in their khaki pants. They're going to go back to their accounting jobs on Monday. If you don't want to shoot them, hang them. These are traitors. Anyways, it's just me, right? I'm getting old, crotchety. Trump's response to the deadly... See, here we go. See. So these assholes are traitors, and I hate them. They are not American. That is the most un-American thing I've ever seen in my life. And I know that the ACLU will stand up for them, and I'm glad. I'm glad the ACLU would stand up for them. I would like to see them dead. It's just me. Because they're traitors. They deserve to die. Anyways, Trump's response to the deadly neo-Nazi rally in Charlottesville, you see, that's me, okay? But this is our president. Remains one of the most controversial moments in his presidency. It was emblematic of Trump's struggle to bring the country together after tragedies and more generally. His response also typified his controversial record on race relations and white supremacy. Trump blamed many sides for the violence at the rally, which resulted in the death of a counter-protester, Heather Heyer. He later said there were fine people on both sides. Fine people on both sides. The president was excoriated by Republicans and Democrats alike over his response, which is good. I think sometimes Republicans sit by quietly while Trump does this kind of bullcrap. Over his response and his failure to offer a swift and forceful combination of the white supremacist violence. GOP Lindsey Graham of South Carolina, often one of Trump's fiercest defenders in Congress at the time, said the president's words were dividing Americans, not healing them. President Trump took a step backward by again suggesting there is moral equivalence between white supremacists, neo-Nazis, and KKK members. A moral equivalency. In the wake of the brutal death of George Floyd at the hands of Minneapolis police and nationwide protests that followed, Trump also failed to rise to the occasion. He's done far more to divide the country than bring it together, and I think you can agree with that. He divides the country. The president had peaceful protesters tear-gassed near the White House so he could pose for a photo with a Bible at a nearby church. That is true. He's consistently demonized anti-racism demonstrators, which is true, and controversially sent federal agents into U.S. cities to squash unrest and intimidate the local population. Okay? You want to cuddle? All right. Clarabelle says she wants to cuddle. I mean, I would be as bad as the neo-Nazis if I didn't cuddle with my puppy. He has elevated conspiracy theorists and people who have threatened protesters with guns. Historians have warned that Trump's tactics mirror those of authoritarian regimes. Okay. Trump has frequently employed racist rhetoric during his presidency, but especially during times of heightened racial tension. Polling shows that the vast majority of black Americans believe Trump is a racist, and his approval rating for the demographic stands at 8%. I once suggested that a conservative African-American friend of mine maybe had voted for Donald Trump, and I was lambasted. I didn't realize how anti-Trump the African-American community is. But they are. America's global image is in shambles. America's global image has declined significantly under Trump, who has repeatedly insulted key U.S. allies while cozying up to dictators. The president's tendency to push important allies away and isolate the U.S., including by pulling out landmark international agreements like the Paris Climate Accord, has had a palpable impact. People across the world have expressed negative reviews on Trump. Pew Research Center in 2020 released a survey of 32 countries that showed a median of 64% said they do not have confidence in Trump to do the right thing in world affairs, and just 29% expressed confidence in the president. Now, maybe you're like, well, screw the rest of the world. The problem is we are embedded deeply, deeply in the entire rest of the world. For military purposes, okay? I'm not questioning that at this point in the game, but what I am saying is that he lies so much, lies roll off his tongue so often. He does lie a lot, but it is kind of the language of politicians, lying. But he probably is a liar of epic proportions, for sure. That's right. So it is not good that our global standing has deteriorated like this, because, like it or not, we are enmeshed globally. We are everywhere. Trump's handling of the coronavirus pandemic has also left the U.S. embarrassed on the world stage. It created a void in global leadership that China rushed to fill. So, see, here's the thing. China wants to be the global superpower. And Trump is kind of making it happen. Failure, family separations, and the death of migrant children. So, reducing undocumented immigration. He made it good on a promise when coming into office, but has accused of human rights abuses and violating international law by the UN. Has zero tolerance policy on an illegal border crossing, led to the separation of 5,500 families and saw children placed in cages. The president of the American Academy of Pediatrics at the time described the practice as nothing less than government-sanctioned child abuse. After widespread backlash, Trump issued an executive order in 2018 to halt the family separations, and a federal judge ordered the Trump administration to reunite all those it had separated. But the fallout from the separations is ongoing. So he changed his thing. He changed his mind, but it's still having repercussions. He blamed his predecessor, Obama, for the policy that saw thousands of children separated from their parents. It's not true. At least 6 migrant children have died in the U.S. custody since September 2018, leading to widespread condemnation of conditions in the detention facilities. Human rights chief in July said she was shocked by the U.S. government treatment of migrant children and conditions they faced on detention facilities. As a pediatrician, but also as a mother and a former head of state, I'm deeply shocked that children are forced to sleep on the floor in overcrowded facilities without access to adequate health care or food, or with poor sanitation conditions. And that's accurate. Iran, Syria, Afghanistan are considered a failure. The unilateral withdrawal from the U.S., a 2015 nuclear deal, has induced chaos through the Middle East. It remains one of Trump's most unpopular decisions in the global arena. It has been condemned by top U.S. allies. The president has failed to thwart Iran's aggressive behavior in the region, which is meant to squeeze Tehran and negotiate more after a series of incidents in the Persian Gulf. 2019, tensions between Washington and Tehran reached historic heights and sparked fears of war. This fear was exacerbated after Trump ordered a strike that killed Iraq's top general, Qasem Soleimani, in January. strike led Iran to retaliate and fire on U.S. troops in the region. That could have really blown up. Iran has essentially abandoned the U.S. nuclear deal, which was designed to prevent it from obtaining nuclear weapons. Trump's decision to pull U.S. troops out of northern Syria in October is also among his most disastrous foreign policy moves, effectively abandoned U.S. allied Kurdish forces who bore the brunt of the U.S.-led campaign against ISIS. Withdrawal, and I'm sorry if you don't like international politics. We have been very international. And maybe you're like, well, we got to stop that. And I guess. But it's having effects on our allies. And sometimes you need allies, people. Trump has repeatedly pledged an endless wars, pledged to end endless wars, zeroing in on Afghanistan. He wanted to remove all troops from Afghanistan by the November election, but that hasn't happened with election day less than 2 months away. This is, a little older. U.S. is engaged in ongoing but tenuous talks with the Taliban. Meanwhile, the New York Times in June reported the U.S. intelligence officials determined Russia had paid bounties to Taliban-linked Afghan militants to kill U.S. troops. Okay? Russia paid the Taliban to kill U.S. troops. And Trump did nothing. That bothers me, folks. That one bothers me. It gets me in my craw. Though the White House has claimed Trump was not initially briefed on the matter, reporting from multiple outlets suggest otherwise. Trump, in a recent interview, said he has not confronted Russian President Vladimir Putin on the matter. Not good. So, replacing Affordable Care Act hasn't really done it. He did dismantle the tax penalty thing. Hasn't really, he said would introduce a phenomenal health care plan. Really hasn't done it. He did get impeached because, he did some shady crap. You can't deny it. You really can't deny he didn't do some shady crap, okay? And now here we are, a pandemic, okay? Likely go down as one of the biggest disasters in U.S. history. Hundreds of thousands of Americans have died and millions are unemployed. Okay, here, millions are unemployed. If you're like, well, the deaths, a few 100,000 people are going to die, whatever. But the unemployment thing is kind of his deal. The U.S. has the worst coronavirus outbreak in the world with over 6.3 million confirmed cases and nearly 200,000 reported fatalities. Has had more coronavirus cases than the population of many countries, and more Americans have died from the virus than the number of U.S. soldiers killed in combat in every war since 1945 combined. He's downplayed the virus, contradicted health experts, flouting recommendations from advisors, privately admitted to veteran Woodward that he deliberately misled the public. Not good either. Public health experts have cited Trump's nonchalant approach to the virus and tendency to reject science. Primary factors to why U.S. emerged at the epicenter. Refused to accept responsibility as his failed response to the pandemic, blaming China. He doesn't take response. U.S. economy, unfortunately, that was his thing, and it's not doing good right now. I guess he'll, and he loves to blame other things. Trump took credit for the robust U.S. economy prior to the pandemic, ignoring much of the growth that began during Obama administration. The U.S. is now facing one of the worst economic crises in its history, and that is under Trump, which is intrinsically linked to his disastrous response of COVID-19. They go hand in hand. Coronavirus, he loves to say that he shut down the country from China early on, which is great. Not 100% accurate, but cool. But that is kind of the end then. That's kind of what he did. That was the big deal. Coronavirus lockdown early 2020 led to tens of millions of job losses as a whole. Segments of the economy sputtered. It's begun adding jobs back, but is far from full recovery as the U.S. struggles to contain coronavirus. Roughly 13.6 million people were unemployed as of August, with the unemployment rate at 8.4%. The national debt, also a little bit of a problem for an fiscal conservative, the highest level since World War II. The U.S. economic growth is set to average just above 0% for Trump's first term due to the pandemic recession. Contracting COVID, most heavily protected person on the planet, he got it. He got the COVID because he flouted public health recommendations. And he made fun of Joe Biden for wearing a mask. Joe Biden hasn't gotten it yet. Public health experts have repeatedly urged Americans to wear a mask, touting the practice the best tool available. And you know how he kind of is with the masks. It's pretty lukewarm. Trump was diagnosed with it just days after essentially holding a super spreader event. Attendees did not social distance and were seen without masks. Over a dozen people in Trump's orbit have tested positive for COVID-19 since the event. Okay? So there is that. All right? So I tried to be as fair as I could about that. I will give you that article as well if you want to see it. Trump does lie a lot and lies so much that it's hard to keep up with. Quite honestly, that doesn't bother me that much because you can't know what a politician believes. You can't possibly know. Okay. Let me tell you a little bit about some of Joe Biden. Wait, I gotta be okay. So I have these things. I have several places, but I want to be careful taking them from from the politicians and from the Democrats and so forth. Let me see. There was one. Is this the one? Hold on, let me double check. We'll scroll through this one real quick. So here is some stuff about Joe Biden. This is from ABC. So let's see here. He's 77 years old. He will be the oldest president. He has a family. He went to school, went to Syracuse Law School. He served as vice president from 2009 to 2017. Is that right? Yeah, 8. Yeah. From 73 to 2009, he served in the U.S. Senate and was on 2 key committees as both ranking member and chairman, the Senate Foreign Relations Committee and the Senate Judiciary Committee. He also served on the Newcastle County Council after finishing law school. Since leaving the White House, he was a county councilman. See, that's pretty good. Joe Biden and his wife launched the Biden Cancer Initiative to invest in efforts for cancer prevention, detection, diagnosis, research, and care. So here's something interesting. After publicly supporting same-sex marriage ahead of his boss, Biden reportedly apologized to Obama in 2012, but Obama said in an interview, I think Joe is an extremely generous, loving person, and I think he was responding honestly in terms of how he felt. Biden supported protecting women from violence, even teaming up with Lady Gaga to support the It's On Us campaign against sexual assault. One of his most poignant moments as vice president, he got the Medal of Freedom. But, it's nice and all, but it's just friends giving medals and crap. He saw the confirmation of Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas in his role as the head of the Judiciary Committee. He was criticized for handling the hearing after Anita Hill testified before the committee and his failure to defend Hill I think this is important. His failure to defend Hill as she faced questions from all-white male committee as Republican members sought to discredit her testimony. Biden voted against Thomas, but the Senate nonetheless confirmed the then nominee. Biden has publicly apologized to Hill and said in March after the Biden Courage Awards, he regrets he couldn't come up with a way to get Hill the kind of hearing she deserved. Not very courageous. Biden has also led the charge on the sweeping bipartisan 1994 criminal bill, which, bad news, baby. A bill Biden referred to as the Biden criminal bill during his 2008 presidential campaign, which critics say had a disproportionate impact on minority communities, particularly due to mass incarceration. Now, isn't it interesting that Donald Trump actually has passed legislation to help African Americans in criminalizing them, and he's like, the guy did the thing that other people haven't done. So like, here, I want to get back to it like really quick. So, okay. Water, Russia, pharmacists, sex trafficking. What are you doing? Hold on. Wilderness. Where'd he go? Hold on. I want to show you this. Okay. It's really impressive when you go through this list of things that he's done. I mean, you really can't deny that he has done a lot of things here. Here it is. This is the one. 2018, President Trump signed the groundbreaking First Step Act, a criminal justice bill that enacted reforms to make our justice system fairer and help former inmates successfully return to society. Yeah, that was Claire Bell. I guess she got bored. They championed these reforms, okay? And it addresses inequities in sentencing law that disproportionately harm black Americans and reform mandatory minimums that were created unfair. Hold on. I'm all caught up. I have blankies. There's too much stuff. Hold on. So I find that 90% of those benefiting from the retroactive sentencing reductions for the First Step Act are black Americans. So I find it interesting that, first of all, he lambasts Anita Hill, okay? Talking about Joe Biden. Okay? Joe Biden. Now, and she's endorsing Joe Biden. Anyways. So this is an African American woman who bravely stood up to a Supreme Court justice. Biden's handling of the explosive hearing before a panel of white men has long been a subject of criticism. The then Senate Judiciary Committee chairman allowed Thomas to testify before Hill after initially saying Hill would get to testify first. He did not take testimony from three women who offered their own stories about Thomas. Hill claimed that Thomas had repeatedly asked her to go out with him and would not respect her rejections. Additionally, she said he would talk about sex and pornography in vivid detail during workplace conversations. Republican members sought to discredit her testimony, and Biden was criticized for not doing more to defend Hill. One member, former Senator Arlen Specter, said discussing large breasts in the workplace was common. Wow. Race also hung over the hearing, which involved an African-American woman making allegations against Thomas, an African-American man nominated to succeed Justice Thurgood Marshall, the only black member of the court. So anyways, then it says Biden helps win passage of Violence Against Women Act. The landmark Violence Against Women Act, co-sponsored by Biden, was first proposed in 1980, passed in 1984. Let's see what, hold on. I want to see what Anita Hill has to say about this. Hold on. So she now Let's see here.
Professor Hill, welcome to the Daily Social Distancing Show.
Thank you. We're keeping safe.
Long before the Me Too movement, your name was in the headlines because you stepped forward during a confirmation hearing. It was in 1991. It was about Clarence Thomas, who was going to be stepping onto the Supreme Court. It's a two-part question for me. Number one, would you do the same thing again, considering what happened to your life following that incident? And number two, how much do you think society has changed since that?
Wow. Yes, to your first question. I definitely would. I mean, at the time that I did it for the reason that I felt the truth had to be told, that we were vetting an individual for a lifetime appointment in the highest court in the country, that can be affected by.
All right. I don't need to go. Look, I'm digging through stuff. I remember watching some of her hearings. So anyways, I guess the whole thing is she endorses Joe Biden. Why? Can we get to
Outside
why?
of studying about it, there was more actual work to be done. One of the things that I want to be very clear about is I see what happened to me. I don't see it through a single lens, especially now, so many years later, looking back. I see it through the lens of gender, of course, but I also see it through the lens of race. I see it through the lens of class and who's in and who's out politically. And these are the very issues that we're facing in a whole range of ways today. So when I do work with the Hollywood Commission, it is of course about sexual harassment. It is about Me Too, but it's also about bias. It's about bullying. It's about people.
All right, I don't know. Anyway, she supports him, but not great, right? So, and then so now I want to get back to this crime bill. So this created a disproportionate impact on minority communities. Biden undertook 3 presidential runs during his 50 years. Biden, and then in 1987, his run ended before any primary voting took place due to a plagiarism scandal. In that case, Biden quoted British Labour Party leader Neil Kinnock without attribution. And then Biden also faced questions of plagiarism in law school after a paper he wrote did not include proper citation for some of the text. He admitted that in 87 called it a mistake and said there wasn't malevolent intent. So, but, it seems like maybe he has a tendency to take credit for stuff that isn't his, and he's a lawyer. He should know not to do that. So Biden has expanded his plan for higher education and proposes offering free college tuition to public universities. I think liberals might enjoy that. Historically black colleges and universities and minority-serving institutions to families making less than $125,000. And I will say this, I have a student going to college in the next 2 or so years. This is a hot topic for me. If I could get some free college, hey, right? Along with his previous pledge to make community college tuition free. Biden's plan for health care would attempt to make Affordable Care Act easier to navigate with more choices. How's he going to make more choices? It's just a system that insurers decide to be part of. Plan would expand upon the Affordable Care Act passed under Obama, provide a public option for patients to buy into. I like that idea. I'd like to see what a public option would like. I don't think we need to necessarily. I mean, maybe we can do both, right? I don't know. We'll see. I would like to see. Health insurance in America is a nightmare. Put a focus on addressing climate change, calling it one of the 4 crises facing the country today. The summary unveils a sweeping new proposal to achieve carbon-free power sector by 2035 and a $2 trillion investment over his first 4 years in office in green energy and infrastructure. So I think liberals like that. And I like diversity in energy. I'm all for that. Also put forth several plans to address coronavirus, pledging to follow science and heed the advice of experts. I kind of like that. I like listening to scientists. Call me a crazy wacko liberal, but maybe they know something about science. Biden has said he would advocate for a national mask mandate in order to contain the virus. I think people can wear a frickin' mask, okay? Get over it. According to you stupid little children, you whine about wearing a mask. Unbelievable. It's not like I'm trying to zip your mouth shut or tie it up with like turkey string or anything. I want you to put a mask over your dirty, smelly, virus-spewing mouth. In the wake of protests across the country over racial inequality, he has not joined the calls to defund the departments, but he advocates for providing an additional $300 million in funding for community-based policing, as well as pairing police with mental health experts. I like that. Fundraising the campaign shifted towards the 2020 general election earlier this year with fundraising gap. Though that seemed like a world away from the Trump campaign, he became the party's nominee. The campaign was more than $180 million. Fast forward 5 months, he managed to eliminate the fundraising gap. People are kind of liking him. Biden's record level fundraising, blah, blah, blah. What you might not know him, he had a stutter. During his college, he played football. He's sent to Washington in 1972 when the people of Delaware elected into the U.S. Senate at 29 years old, one of the youngest people elected to a seat in an upper chamber. In the weeks after being elected to the Senate, tragedy struck the Biden family after a car accident killed his first wife, Nelia, and their one-year-old daughter, Naomi, and severely injured their son, Bose, and Hunter. In 1977, 5 years later, appropriate amount of time, I think, married Jill Biden. After Biden's 46-year-old son, Beau, died of brain cancer in 2015, Obama eulogized the former Delaware attorney general during a memorial service, received 72,000 condolences. Biden's significant achievement during his time at the helm of the Judiciary, appointing California Senator Dianne Feinstein to the dais. She was the first woman on the committee. Okay, here we go, everybody. So, hopefully, I have tried to give you the facts, okay? I'm not going to, I do think, like I said, that Trump lies, but Hunter's laptop. Yeah, so now we have the laptop issue, don't we? Back to laptops and emails and crap. So I would say that when you look at what Donald Trump has done, he has done some good things. Okay? They didn't mention the tariff on China. I liked that. Screw China. Only Fox mentions it. Yeah, true. I don't know how I feel about the Hunter Biden thing. I'm not, but maybe it's just because I tend to skew liberal. If it was, but I don't really care much about what Donald Trump's family does either. It doesn't really bother me. We all have wacky families. Hillary's, being an important person in politics and not taking care of her emails did bother me. That did not seem very professional at that high level of the State Department or whatever she was running. That bothered me. It struck me as entitled, that she's Hillary Clinton and she can do whatever she wants. So when you look at, Donald Trump was doing things, okay? And they were actually good things. But now look where we are, right? We have, our economy is in the dump. It really is. I mean, if you aren't affected by it, that's wonderful. But I got called from a building owner who wants me to auction one of the laser tag places down the street from me because, obviously laser tag is no more. He wants me to auction that. I don't know if I'm going to do it or not. It just seems fun. But so, businesses are being pummeled right now. And I gotta say, as honest as I can be, I feel like Donald Trump could have led better on this, okay? I totally understand where he's like, look, I'm a Republican, I'm a a personal freedom guy, but they're spending trillions of dollars to shore up this economy that could have potentially been cleaned up with some masks and hand washing. Even if he was like, look, I'm for personal freedom. I really go on the side of libertarianism. But you know what, guys? I'm wearing a mask, and I really wish you would wear a mask too, because the science says that this is helping, and we have to do something. So if you want to be patriotic, wear a patriotic mask. Why don't you get a neo-Nazi flag on your mask, you traitors? And you see, there it goes. You see? To not condemn, straight up condemn neo-Nazi Confederate assholes is really un-American to me. It really, really bothers me. And it's not because they're white. It's not because they're men. It's because they're Nazis. And Nazis should burn in hell. Like, we should actually put them in an elevator alive and cook them in hell. We should cook them like they cooked the millions of Jews. You get me? Nazis should die. I can't say it more emphatically. Fuck Nazis. Fuck them. Fuck them and their flags. Nazis need to die because they're traitors. They need to be killed. I can't say it any louder than that. Nazis need to die. Put a fucking Nazi flag in front of your house. Your house should be burned down. That's how I feel. Now, I'm not going to do it because I have taken a path of not hurting or killing people. But somebody should do it. Somebody should kill them. I just think so. They're traitors. We killed them back in 45. Why can't we kill them now? We should all go watch that Inglourious Bastards movie again and scar their foreheads with swastikas. Fuck them. God, I can't hate Nazis enough. I can't hate them enough. So that really, 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 really bothers me that he is, saying, there's good people on both sides. That's kind of a deal breaker to me. But hey, whatever. You love Nazis? By all means, vote for them. That's really how it comes down in my mind. You love Nazis. Yeah, he should have condemned them. Problem solved. Problem solved. Nazis have no place in America. Problem solved. Like, why does he need the Nazi contingent? How big are they? How hard is it to say Nazis do not belong in America? We fought Nazis. It was the greatest war in American history. It was the war to end all wars. We did the right things. Our grandparents did the right things. We can never allow Nazis to rise up again. Done. Problem solved. And he's doing nothing, as Tom points out, to unite the country. He seems to divide us to support the right of Nazis. And Confederates, also traitors. Okay? Traitors. I don't really want to kill Confederates. I mean, they weren't as bad as Nazis. They just were like, we should have slaves, which is bad. I don't have violent, murderous rage for Confederates as I do Nazis. I hate Nazis. Have I mentioned that? That I think Nazis should die a painful death in a cooking elevator to hell? In case you didn't know, I hate Nazis. I hate them. I fucking hate Nazis. It's like I was in World War II or something. I don't know. Maybe I was. I just don't like them. I don't like Nazis. It would be very interesting for me to see somebody carrying a Nazi flag, like what I would do. They fill me with rage and hate. They need to die. They need to die. They are traitors. They need to die. Okay. Did I mention Nazis need to die? Okay, anyways. Oh, my God. That is the deal breaker, and he divides the country. Tom is right. Donald Trump creates divisiveness. Donald Trump is creating these, is inflaming these riots. Because he says stuff like, "Oh, there's good people on both sides." You're right. Yes. I'm glad it came through that I hate Nazis, Tom. I was a little concerned it might not be evident, but yes, I hate Nazis. I hate them. I hate them. Like, I can't, if there's a bigger word than hate, that's the word I want. I hate Nazis. Confederates are traitors. You really should get off the losing side, because honestly, I think when you carry that flag around, you're just saying, I want slaves back. That's what it means to me, but I don't want to murderously kill you and send you into a flaming oven elevator to hell. I just would like to talk to you a little bit and be like, dudes, could you chill out with the flag? But then again, who was watching Dukes of Hazzard when he was a kid? Me. Who watched that Dukes of Hazzard movie with that super beautiful woman? Me. So, you know, what are you going to do? Would I watch it now? Probably. You can only see them if they carry a flag. Well, that's the nice thing. In fact, that's one of the benefits of Confederates wearing that flag, is you're like, oh, geez, there's one of those guys. Okay, everybody, that's one of those guys that likes the Confederacy. Dukes of Hazzard, right? I mean, I literally don't have murderous rage for Confederates. They lost. Daisy Duke, my goodness gracious. Woo! I have to take off my sweatshirt just saying the name. Daisy Duke, she invented a certain kind of short. She invented shorts. There is a lot of things I love about Southern people in the South. I love it. I love their moonshine. I love their frickin' ribs and barbecue. I love their cute little Southern accent. Hold on. I got everything wrapped around here. I'm a mess. Hold on. Okay. A lot of things I like about Confederates. Not Confederates. I don't like things about Confederates. I'm glad they lost. I'm sorry that there was so much death in America against other Americans. I'm really, really sorry about that. But I love the South. I love the South, and I'm glad we don't have slavery anymore. How embarrassing would that be if we still had slavery? That would be terrible. That would be a little uncomfortable. So I wish you would stop carrying your Confederate flag. Could you get a new flag, maybe? Like it also is like a Southern pride flag, right? It's like, I'm from the South and I love the South, which I can totally get behind. You should love the South. The South is really, really, really cool. Really cool. Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana. Man, if you haven't spent time in those states, you should. You should also spend time in Texas. I don't even consider them the South. I consider them a whole different universe, which I love to go to, incidentally. I love Texas. I love all those places. They're wonderful people. Wonderful, wonderful people. But anyways, I'm sorry, Donald Trump has to go. Okay? It's the divisiveness and his incessant tweeting. Okay? He is a wonderful politician. He is a great campaigner. Like, he knows how to get people inspired. I enjoy listening to him. He's sharp-witted for a guy in his 70s. He's exciting, and it gets people excited about politics, which I love. I love that so much, and I'm so upset that the Democrats can't do the same. But you got to get a guy that's a little more inclusive, okay? Do it again. Do it again. Go out there, get another outsider. I love it. I love it. Go get another outsider, but somebody that isn't so divisive, okay? That doesn't, like, say death to Nazis, okay? We just need somebody that says, that isn't like, I can see there's some good people over there. There's some good people. And, you know, his whole stand down and stand back and stand down, or stand by the whatever with the Proud Boys. He's being a little hypocritical that he's so against leftist radicals, but the Proud Boys are violent too. And if you're gonna go against one, you should go against the other. I don't know much about the Proud. I mean, look, anybody that is going to try to get us to a place where we are not all rising up together is somebody I'm going to fight. Okay? There is racism in America. You cannot deny it. I think Don Jr. is going to end up running for prez, or Ivanka. Ivanka is interesting to me. She is an interesting human. I would like to learn more about Ivanka. I don't know much about Don Jr. Yeah. She's liberal. Ivanka Trump has liberal tendencies, okay? I don't know what she is like now. I don't follow her very much, but I would be very interested in knowing more. I've listened to her speak. Very compelling, very interesting. I'm down with it again. But Donald Trump, and I don't know what his kids are like. You know, I don't know. Yeah. So it's I get tired of these families running. You know, I wish. Like, we don't need another Clinton. We don't need another Bush. There's plenty of families. Get more families, okay? I would like to see outsiders run more. Why not have more actors run? I want more people engaged in politics, okay? It doesn't need to be this insider club that you've been a politician for 40 years. You can see that America did not fall apart because George Bush, I'm sorry, it didn't fall apart during George Bush. It didn't fall apart. We're still here after almost 4 years of Donald Trump. Donald Trump has created this divisiveness. And may I say, I believe, not because he orchestrated it, I believe that race relations is getting better because of Donald Trump. The Nazis were always there. The Confederates were always there. The racists were always there. They were just given a platform to stand up because Donald Trump gave them that platform, and we got to, thank you, Marsha, we got to see them for who they truly are. And then And I attribute my stance for Black Lives Matter to Donald Trump. And, wait, what was it? And all the police murdering black people on video. Though the evil people, so isn't that interesting? It's the bad people that are making me a better activist. You know? We would not have had we would not have had Black Lives Matter without social media and the video. I don't think we would have. And yet they're bringing the issues to light. And if you can't be mature enough to thank Donald Trump for that, you are kidding yourself. I believe Donald Trump is doing more for Black lives than Barack Obama did. I really, really do. Now, obviously, that wasn't his intent, but it's the outcome. It's made me stand up for my black neighbors. Because that's this stuff has come to light. And it has always been here. He did not invent racism, Donald Trump. He just brought it out of the shadows and put it on Main Street. And now we get to deal with it. If Donald Trump loses, which you never know, I can't trust a single one of these polls anymore. When Donald Trump eventually stops being president, which he will not create some sort of banana republic. He's not going to turn this into some sort of dictatorship. It's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. You liberals can chill the fuck out on that shit. It brought the issues to light. Yeah. I'm going to publicly thank Donald Trump for helping me become a better person. I'm already doing it. Because without Donald Trump, I was living a life of lies. I was. I was doing my homeless thing, which is fine, but it helped me understand the brutality of being an African American in America, which African Americans, this is nothing new to African Americans, okay? What's going on in America today with African Americans is nothing new that hasn't been going on for 400 years. Nothing has changed. The only thing has changed is we get to see it now. Okay? So that's the gist. That's the gist. And so I'm incredibly thankful. I'm incredibly thankful for social media, even that cesspool of Facebook for allowing me to see these things, TikTok allowing me to see these things, Twitter allowing me to see these things. All of these things are bringing this to the forefront, okay? And honestly, Donald Trump did do a lot. And a lot of the things, I'm cool with what he did. And if I was a conservative, I would have been cool with all his judges and I would have been cool with his tax cuts. I'm just not conservative, okay? But it doesn't mean he didn't do right by his party, you know? He did what he was supposed to do, which is wonderful. And hopefully it will remind liberals that they need to get out and vote. You don't like what conservatives are doing? Oh, well then you should go vote. You're not happy because your guy Bernie Sanders didn't get in office? So what are you going to do? Sit home and pout? Because what you're going to do then is you're going to get more conservative judges. You're going to get more tax cuts on rich people. You're going to get the things that you're going to get less, you're going to get more oil drilling. You're going to get less EPA, which is what they want. And it's not what you want, okay? Do you get it? Do you understand? And you can't blame them. They have very valid reasons for wanting what they want, okay? But you have very valid reasons for wanting what you want. And so it is very clear who is who in this race. If you want conservative agendas, you should vote for Donald Trump. If you want more liberal agendas, you should vote for Joe Biden. Ultimately, I think we got to reset because we learned what we learned about Black Lives Matter and equality and injustice and racism. I truly believe in my heart of heart, not because I'm not conservative, but you conservatives got to come back with somebody else, okay? You got to come back with somebody else. I'm sorry. This guy is tearing us apart. He's making us angry and divisive. And a conservative called Joe Biden, they said watching Joe Biden on the town hall was watching Mr. Rogers. That's what we need. We need a little bit of Mr. Rogers right about now, okay? We need a guy that walks in, takes off his jacket, puts on his sweater, takes off his work shoes. You're going to get a wall. Yeah, you're going to get a wall. That's right. You are going to get a wall. They're going to keep building that ridiculous wall. Okay? We need more drones. I'm not for saying people need to flood over our, you know who's going to build a wall is Canada. For the foreseeable future, you're not going to Canada, okay? You know why? Because you don't wear a mask. You can't go over to the Canadian side of Niagara Falls because you won't wear a mask. You're too much of a toxic waste dump, America. And I sort of feel like Donald Trump is contributing to that. Okay? Come back with a better guy, all right? Come back with somebody that isn't trying to make us hate each other. That's what I think, everybody. All right. Would you vote? I'm sure you guys are going to vote, but please vote. Please vote. There's obvious differences. I laid them all out. Even if you're like, I love the divisiveness that Donald Trump, I wish Donald Trump would tweet more. If you're that person, okay? Then go vote. You better vote. Of course you'll vote. You'll vote. Because you love Donald Trump. And I can understand why you love Donald Trump. He's an outsider. He says what he wants. He's standing up to the authority. I totally get why you support Donald Trump. And you're probably angry. And so, whatever. But I think we need Mr. Rogers right now. We need to chill out. Do you really want another 4 years of this yelling and tirades and you want all that? Because he's propagating it, you know? He's making it happen. That's all I'm saying. He's making it happen. And you can't deny that. He's angry, he's divisive, and he's causing divisiveness in our country. You cannot say he's not fanning the flames. All right, everybody? All right, I got to go live my day. Thank you for coming over here on the YouTube. I would like to do it more over here. I would like to have do this on YouTube a little bit more. Be very cool. I like Mr. Rogers. Me too. I'll take Mr. Rogers. We need to all chill out. We all need to chill out and then, we can get back to fighting each other later on, but we just need to calm down. Don't you want to just relax for a minute? Don't you want just to calm down for a minute? Because you're not going to get that. If you like all the tension and all the fighting that's going on right now, you definitely, absolutely should vote for Donald Trump. And I got to say, there's a part of me that's down with that. I'm all for fighting, but even I would like to see some calming just for the good of our psychology. Take care, Tom. I will see you guys. You're awesome. Have a great day. Bye.